What's up, y'all? It's your girl Chanel from Complex Simplicity, and I wanted to come on just to do a quick vlog about part two of the reunion for the Real Housewives of New York City. um, don't mind me, I was eating a whole bunch of watermelon. I love watermelon. Say what you want, it's not stereotypical. I love it. But yeah, so I came home from work a little late tonight. And when I first started tuning into the reunion, it was 15 minutes in. And I just got finished watching what I missed. And let me tell you, we are crazy. Like women, what is wrong with us sometimes? It's like, what? First of all, my girl Bethany, I've already told y'all, sorry. I love me some Bethany Frankel. However, in part two of this reunion, she didn't seem like she was able to hold the fort down or to hold her ground the way I'm used to her doing. It seemed as if the whole issue with Jules and Dorinda and she kind of wasn't as hard with her delivery as I'm used to her being. With Luann, she was responding and coming for Luann, which I get, excuse me. But I feel like with the whole Jewel situation, I get how it was a moment for her to own her eating disorder as well as to, I guess, bring a platform to that issue and how there are a lot of people in life that suffer from eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia. I have to agree, in the beginning or the first half of the season, it seemed as if she was discussing her eating disorder as though she was beyond a particular phase, and then come to find out it was still a struggle. And so being in my field of social work, working with clients who have had some level of eating disorders at times, it is almost like how recovering addict is. I don't know that you're ever fully over it, but I guess there are different phases and stages. And I'm glad that she was able to explain that during the reunion tonight, because how it was portrayed throughout the season, you would have thought that she was over it, but then you would see a lot of contradictory behavior from her throughout the season. I don't know why she and Bethany kind of rubbed each other the wrong way. I get for Bethany, it was kind of traumatic bringing her back to her childhood and what she went through with her mom, witnessing her mom suffering with having an eating disorder. And we all know Bethany could be brash and rude, sometimes harsh. With Jules, though, I didn't understand why she felt like Bethany was like talking about her marriage or, talking about her eating disorder to that level. I recall Bethany stating, I'm kind of going to have to put some distance because it's a bit too close to home for me. I also saw her, I didn't really remember her like having a lot to say about Jules's marriage. Maybe little snarky comments here and there. Okay. But my thing is they all are guilty of the same things. It reminds me of the audio recording I did this past weekend, how, some of us really feel some kind of way when we find out that people are talking about us, but we're guilty of doing the very same thing. Like, I don't understand. Help me understand, y'all. Like, how can I get mad, like angry, frustrated that somebody is talking about me when I know that I have been guilty of doing the same thing, especially if you've been guilty of doing the same thing with that same person that you're upset with. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we all just have to get over the fact that everyone talks about everyone, okay? Now, my thing is, where is it coming from? But I'm not going to go too far into that because you can go to my vlogs and audio blogs section of the website to hear that. So yeah, that was an interesting dynamic with them. I guess maybe I'm tripping over my words. Let me slow down. I'm excited. Sorry. But maybe Bethany was feeling as though, let me kind of not go so far in on Jules. Now, her saying that Jules didn't really portray the Jewish faith and culture the way in a good light or whatever, I think that was a bit harsh. That was kind of a low blow, Bethany. I love you, but that was a little low blow. Like, you don't want to start attacking cultures, faith, there's certain things you just gotta air with caution, and that's one of them. But as I always say, I respect the fact that she has the gall to say certain things, you know what I'm saying? Like what everyone else is probably thinking but would be ashamed or afraid to say, she's gonna say it, and she wears her big girl panties. She'll be all right with whatever backlash she gets, it's happened before, but I would encourage for her to kind of just be careful. Sometimes I could be harsh. I could be the harsh queen. I admit it, but there are times, a lot of times in my life, I have to edit probably what I would really want to say or how I would really want to react in certain situations. I have to kind of edit it. I can still get the same sentiments across and express whatever my feelings are without having to be harsh. And that's something that I'm learning and I am continually trying to work on. However, when you push me to a certain point, the harsh queen is going to come for you. Just know that. But I am trying to work on it. Now, flashing to the whole Dorinda being a meddler, I would have to agree she's a bit messy. You know what I'm saying? She'll have a conversation with Ramona about Sonia, have a conversation with Sonia about Ramona, have a conversation with Luann about Ramona and, or Bethany or whoever. And it's just like, okay, you saying that you want to fix it and you have the best of intentions. You want to be a problem solver. Okay, I get that. However, these are women, grown behind women who should be able to hash out their issues. Now, if you kind of behind the scenes want to be helpful, I get that. That's fine. However, I think don't stir the pot as you're trying to help. In my mind, it's like we all know that no one's job is guaranteed with these reality shows, especially with the Housewife franchise. And so when I see that kind of behavior, my thing is, you're trying to keep your job. That's what you're trying to do. I get it. It's a hustle. You are trying to secure your seat on this show. So you can't be all rainbows and positivity to keep your seat. You still have to have some controversy in there, and you have to probably stir the pot or whatever it is that you're willing to do to be a little dirty to keep your job. And that's kind of what I feel with Dorinda. With Jules, I don't know if I want to continue to see her be a housewife. I feel like when it gets to the point where it helps to destroy your marriage, even though they had pre-existing issues prior to the show. And that's another thing I question. I remember Wendy Williams, I think, saying in her talk show one time, if you have certain issues, especially in your marriage, please do not go on reality TV because it's only going to put the final nail in the coffin, and that's where I have a hard time understanding. And maybe it's because I've been married for almost 2 years now. Like my marriage is everything to me. So I wouldn't want to put it in any kind of compromising situation, especially if we were already having issues. You know what I'm saying? Like her marriage was already going under, unfortunately. And them being on the show didn't help. Like, why? The only thing I could think of is for her to secure her own future. But then she said she didn't sign a prenup. So I don't know. But anyway, I don't know that for the things that she's going through with her eating disorder and probably now with the divorce, having kids, is it going to really be worth it for you to hold the apple and be on this show? You know what I'm saying? But who am I, to each his or her own. And the Luann thing, that debacle was crazy. Luann, she's being a little mean girl, She was jumping on Dorinda's bandwagon of accusing Carol of being real mean girl this season. Luann, to me, was very mean girl this season, very selfish, and only cared about herself and her pending nuptials, which I think is completely ridiculous, to be honest with you. You knew this man for 2 minutes, you married him, or you're going to marry him, sorry, and in knowing him for 2 minutes, you at least knew that he dealt with at least one of the other girls, if not both, Ramona and Sonia, and you still broke the girl code and still like flaunting and throwing in everybody's face that he wants to marry you, and everything that was before Lou doesn't matter. Like, to me, that's whack. You know what I'm saying? Like, Sonia and her are legitimate friends. Like, how is it that you would take this man's word over your girl, your friend, for over 8 years? Like, that's real whack to me. You know, at the end of the day, especially when I first knew my husband, he was my boyfriend, you know, if there were any concerns that were brought my way, I would hear it out. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's coming from my friends, people who knew me for years, you know what I'm saying? And I've only known this guy for a few minutes, like, why would I just run with what he's saying over the people that I've known and who've known me? You know what I'm saying? To me, that's just whack. Now, had she have been with Tom for like a couple of years, I would say, okay, you're going to have to weigh things, because in a relationship, you know, when you've been with someone for some time, you know each other in a different way than even what your friends would know of you. But for 2 minutes, like, no, I'm not going to like ride out with a man over my friend if I knew a guy for like 2 seconds. Like, that's crazy to me, you know? But to each his or her own. And I felt like the ladies did the honorable thing in letting her know and keeping it real about what was going on and what the word on the street was. You know, to me, have that message for your friend as it happens. What I can't respect is when people want to tell you after the fact or say stuff a year later, 2 years later, that allegedly happened. You know, that to me is when it becomes questionable. Like, why are you telling me this now? You know, but in this situation, as the girls or as the ladies learned of whatever he was doing and had proof, you know, the pictures that Bethany had, yes, tell her as you found out. You know, a couple of days, a week, that's fine. You know, don't try to hit me up and tell me stuff a year, 2 years later, like after the fact, like after she done married the person. Like, that's why. That makes me now give you a side eye, like, what are your intentions, you know? But that was just crazy to me how Luann was real, I don't know, like riding out for Tom. I get it, you have to be a united front, but you're just looking crazy, you know what I'm saying? I don't think the ladies are hating on it, like they don't want her to be happy, or like, you know, like they really wanted him. Like, I think for Sonia, this was someone she was rocking with off and on, casually, having fun, you know, and for you to now say you're getting engaged to this person, or you are engaged, is a little strange. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that it's okay, that Luann should have actually kind of, in some way, addressed her feelings. You know, she knows him far more than Luann does. Crazy, crazy, craziness going on. I guess that just goes to show with us as women sometimes, we can have a one-track mind. Like, once we're fixated on something, it's like we stick to that, you know? Throw caution to the wind. But please, like, let us just be a little bit smarter, have more discretion, assess things before we just rule them out, you know? But yeah. So part 2 was crazy. You know, I'm looking forward to part 3 of the reunion. And continue to head to the website, complexsimplicity.weebly.com.